just finished my workout. Feeling a little better today. I felt really awkward yesterday. There was still a sense of awkwardness that I felt just because I'm, out of my routine. This is not what I usually do early mornings. So here I am. I'm going to go drink my protein shake. And I'm going to go ahead and meditate in the Word. Although I was reading the Bible at the gym, I'm doing a devotional. It's called Momentum on the YouVersion app. And so I've read the Bible a little bit, but I want to read a little bit more, do a little bit of my journaling. And I'm going to share with you my journaling insights because I did some journaling last night and I did something I've never done and I want to share it with you. I just finished reading a little bit of the Switch on My Brain. Said my brain. Oh my God. It's really early. I'm actually in the car. I did my journaling and writing and reading in the car because there's a lot of traffic right now. But I did something last night and I wanted to ask you, have you ever had like a moment where let's say like you're thinking about a thought, right? You're constantly thinking about a thought and you're constantly replaying it in your mind, like how it's happening, what's happening. Like, it's funny because I do this with food. Like, for example, I'm like envisioning like this specific dish and I'm like, oh my God, this tastes so good. And then when you add this sauce, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then you couple it with this dessert and then you have the coffee and, I replay the whole scene in my mind that I end up eating there at that restaurant either that day or later on, like in the week. So it's funny because everything you replay in your mind, the more you replay it in your mind, it becomes a more, not a solid memory, I want to say, but it becomes an action that you actually, like you do. And it was this whole idea, and this book talks about this whole idea of rehearsing a specific thought. Like for example, you have a toxic thought, rehearse a good thought to replace that bad thought. So in this whole 21-day brain detox, there are 5 things. I forgot I had a pen in my hand. There are 5 things that you're supposed to be doing every day. And those 5 things are, number 1 is gather. Number 2 is focus reflection. Number 3 is write. Number 4 is revisit. And number 5 is active reach. And that's part of the switch on the brain technique. And it's what helps you change a complete toxic thought into something that's positive, right? So the reason why I'm asking you if you've ever rehearsed something in your mind, a specific thought or whatever, is because I was actually doing that last night, but I was doing that when it comes to the routine that I wanted to have today. I went ahead and had everything ready that I needed for today, for this morning, but I kept replaying in my mind, okay, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, I'm going to have my protein shake, I'm going to do my devotional, I'm going to read the Bible, read the Switch on Your Brain, and I'm going to do some journaling because it's part of the 21-day brain detox where you have to write. There's a part of it where you have to write. And it's actually my favorite part because it's not just journaling, although I like to journal and I'll start off journaling. I like the fact that you can make it fun. And what Dr. Caroline Leaf talks about is basically when you write, whatever, it's like putting your brain on paper. Whatever you're writing, don't just write it in a very linear way like you would. No, add speech bubbles, diagrams, maybe like mind maps, write, I don't know, just make it fun. Like it's almost like doodling. And so then I love that aspect of writing because then I don't have to be so, I'm not thinking in like full thoughts. Like today I feel like blank, blah, 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 and this is, whatever, I have to blank. I don't have to write so linear, but rather it's just thoughts. Like as they come, it's like one speech bubble. I like doing speech bubbles. So one speech bubble will say, I don't know, feeling anxious, and then I'll go ahead and put a little arrow and put a question mark, and then I'll put a little bubble, and then I'll start writing, what I'm feeling in my body, because it's what it talks about when in step 1 of this whole switch on your brain technique is gather. Like, you're basically gathering information as to what you're feeling at the moment. How are those, like, what are you thinking? Why are you thinking those things? What's the root of those thoughts? And then thoughts, they manifest in our bodies. So for example, I struggle with anxiety. So if I'm feeling anxious, I automatically notice that I'm starting, this is exactly what happens. I'm like writing, and then all of a sudden I'm bringing my finger to my mouth, and then I want to bite or just nibble on my nail. And it's like my anxiety, every time I now know, because I've gathered, I've practiced that enough where I'm like, okay, as soon as I think, like, I find myself and I become aware of me like nibbling or going like this, I'm like, okay, no, I'm anxious, because I do that when I'm anxious. So now that I've brought it to like my conscious mind and I have awareness, now I can change it. Step 2 is focused reflection. Now I'm going to go deeper. As I'm doing this whole deep reflection, I am focusing on one thought. And that's what the book talks about. Focus on one thought. And I'm going to go ahead and read to you what I wrote. Think deeply, reflect on daily actions, rehearse positive actions. That's what I did last night. As a matter of fact, I'm like, I really don't want to go to the gym tomorrow morning. I don't want to have to wake up at 6 in the morning. I was like, I don't want to. But I'm like, you know what? What action do I want? I want to be able to go to the gym. So I had to rehearse in my mind positive, like paint a picture in my mind and rehearse it, basically because I'm trying to convince myself, and more than convince myself of going to the gym, I know how I feel afterward. And that is the positive. Like, that's the positive of going to the gym. I love how I feel afterward, in here. Anything that you're struggling with right now, go into deep reflection about that one thing, and you have to work at one thought at a time, one thought each day. You can't change your entire being, in 21 days, but you could definitely start establishing a strong foundation for habits that you can continue to implement every single day, every single 21 days. And it's not something that you just stop doing after 21 days. Continue, because then later on it's going to be another thought that you want to go ahead and change, another bad habit that you want to cut off your life. Because I struggle with anxiety, and I'm not sure if this is your case, but this is why I'm sharing all this information, because this has been so helpful for me. And I really want to help you guys out, because it's horrible to live with this state of like, it's not utter fear, but it's like, what if, this doesn't happen? What if this, what if that? And although it stems from fear, I just feel like the anxiety. It's like, okay, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go walk. Maybe I should just drink my coffee. Maybe I should just, I don't know, pass by the drive-thru and get something. So it's kind of like, I'm tired of that anxiety manifesting itself into sporadic thoughts of how can I feel relief or bring relief onto my heart, onto my mind. So this morning, as I was journaling, doing this whole process of writing, I wrote the word anxiety, and I wrote, number 1, as soon as I'm aware of it, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to breathe. So in the moment that I actually recognize the signs of, like, I have my shoulders are up and I'm like, like this, or like at that moment when I'm like this, when my body looks like this and I feel it, that's when I'm going to close my eyes, breathe in deeply, and be able to just recognize in that moment and take that moment to just breathe. breathing exercises are powerful. And now, some of the thoughts that I had that I want to encourage you to do today is go ahead and just write down not just what you're grateful for, but what you have. We tend to focus on the lack, the things that we don't have. I am not there yet, or I haven't obtained this, or I haven't done this in my career. I haven't created this thing. I haven't launched this project. We're so focused on what we haven't done, and that we don't realize what we have. So I did a list. So that's what I did this morning. So I wrote down anxiety. I wrote down that I'm going to close my eyes and breathe. So that's exactly what I did. And then I started writing everything that I have. I have my home. I'm safe. I'm with my kids. My husband supports me. I'm alive. I am well. I am growing. I lack nothing. Right now, in this instant, sure, I may have struggles, but in this moment right now, I recognize that I lack nothing. I am where I need to be. So you are where you need to be, no matter the circumstance. You are where you need to be at this moment, and you need to completely work on transforming all your toxic thoughts into positive ones, so that you can continue to grow inside. You can continue to feel peak happiness, peace, joy, and be able to enjoy this life that God has given you. The fourth step in this process is after I've written and I've done my writing portion, then I revisit what I have been writing in the past, because I want to know where I am, where I was, if there is any progress. At least for me, that gives me hope and peace if I see progress, because if I can understand where I am, I know exactly, I can formulate a game plan on how I can make changes happen. So revisiting is something that I used to do before. When I used to journal, like a couple years ago, I would always revisit my journaling entries and things like that, because I just wanted to know like where I was. And do it today. If you have any journal lying around that you wrote a long time ago, go ahead and revisit it and see where you were. You're going to be surprised, and you're actually going to be very proud of yourself, because you're like, wait, I've come such a long way. I'm in a different headspace. And as a mom, I am the type of person, well, not the type of person, because I think that everyone's like this, or maybe not, I don't know. But I'm very hard on myself, and I'm always feeling like this sense of I'm not doing enough. I should be doing this. I should be doing this with my kids, or it's not enough what I do on a daily basis. So I feel like this sensation of not hitting the mark, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm not hitting the mark, I'm failing. And if you're feeling like that, it's amazing for you. It would be great, just like it has been for me, to go ahead and revisit your journal entries from the past and just see how far you've come. Even if you don't journal, write everything you do every day. It could be a list, dude. It could be like a list of things that you just put, like 1, cooked breakfast, 2, washed clothes, 3, did homework with my kids, 4, practiced or worked out, exercised with my kids, 5, went to the playground with my kids, went grocery shopping. Like, do a list of everything you do, and you're gonna be surprised. And you know what? Take it a step further. When you write down the list of what you do, write down the time. Like for me, it's been shocking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I woke up at 6 a.m. I didn't go to bed until 11, and I did all those things. Like, my God, bro, like, I'm a freaking beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, wow. Like, it really puts things into perspective, because it's like, I did all of that, and the entire day that I was doing all those things, I felt like I was failing. Like, in those moments, I felt like a failure. Yet, because I wrote everything down with the time, and I made sure just to track all the activities that I was doing on that day, I shocked myself, and it's just something that we constantly have to do. I feel this I feel like this brain detox, these 21 days of brain detoxing and detoxifying my mind from toxic thoughts is it's not for me, just for me, but I want to take you on this journey because I know that you can have this too. I hope that on each day that I come on here and I post this video, you can go ahead and just follow along and do as I did. Today I talked about painting a picture of what you want your day to look like and start rehearsing that over and over again, just so that you can set up yourself for, for you to execute the actions that you really want to see in your life to get the results that you want to see in your life. Go ahead and start journaling, but not in a linear way. Make it fun. Use speech bubbles and go ahead and revisit those thoughts. Get into deep reflection and think of what is the one thing that you want to change today? What is the one thought that you want to change today? For example, you don't want to feel like a failure anymore. Focus on that. Write why you feel like a failure. What is causing you to feel like a failure? Why? Who's telling you this? Is anyone making you feel this way? Get to the root of it and understand why it's going on, why these feelings are coming up to the surface. Can you now attack that, work on that, and make the changes that you want to see in your life? I hope this video was helpful. I will see you on day 3. God bless.